What's up, Internet? My name's Mike Jones. Welcome to the Sport Folio show. I'm hanging out with some fabulous mustaches this morning in the studio. It's Movember. The boys are rocking it. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
Mitch Sadowsky. I'm a strength coach at Coast Performance with Brendan Hayden and run my own strength business, Mitch 11 Strength and Performance.
And I'm James Deep Handlebar Mustache Spencer. Always good to be in the studio with you boys.
Goodness gracious. I think you left your Harley out the front this morning, bro. But congratulations and kudos to you guys for being able to grow.
You should have seen, Spence rolling in with the sunglasses. He had the 70s tinted aviators, the amber tint. It was just full on.
Maybe I need them for the show.
Well, all you need was the leather jacket with the tassels.
I mean, bro, what are you doing after this? Like,
it's weird. We're filming actually next.
Well, I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. I did not keep the No Shave November thing going this year, unfortunately, but you guys more than took care of it.
Well, remember, No Shave November and Movember are two different. No Shave is just sort of its own little thing. Movember is the actual
The movement.
the movement.
Yes, I like that.
And I do have a buddy in Australia that raises like $5,000, $10,000 every year that I always like to chip into. And the winner, the highest donator, gets to pick how he styles his mustache for the next week after the first week of December.
I love it.
So like one year someone like made him dye it like, a color or do like the Captain Hook. So like a little prize.
Well, and a little side story. That's where the bearded kettlebell came from. I was so influenced how breast cancer awareness created the movement for October that heading into November, I didn't want to put a mustache on a kettlebell. So kind of the No Shave November, that's kind of how the bearded kettlebell formed, was create awareness for prostate and men's cancer awareness and give money back to them.
Nice.
Well, it's any way that you can raise awareness for all this types of stuff, because I know should be fortunate to be healthy and happy right now. And anyone that has to go through cancer, I think we've all known somebody that has gone through it, and not fun. So, if you can not shave and bring some extra little awareness to it, I think that's a pretty cool way for us to do something little every day.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, boys, let's start with golf.
Yeah.
I know we have DJ.
Little Masters recap.
Going under to minus 20.
He set the course record. That's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
It was like watching a video game.
He's just been dialed in.
Correct.
I mean, he had that little hiccup, a couple months ago where he withdrew and said he had a back injury. But, I mean, after that, I think they showed his last, 5 or 6 tournaments. I don't think he's finished lower than 5th.
Something like that.
Just like seconds and first and just bonkers.
Made a couple bucks this year playing golf.
Yeah, it's been a good year for him.
Yeah.
Not too shabby. And you texted me over the weekend about that Cameron Smith stat, because he was like the first person to ever go in 60s all 4 rounds.
Correct.
And he was really close. He had one round where he was at 70.
Correct.
But he had 3 60s and 170. So he's one shot off from joining Cameron Smith in that.
Pretty impressive.
That's some really good. You're playing really good golf.
Yeah.
And we were laughing because, all the rest of the pack were kind of like 10 under, 9 under. He put 10 strokes on you. Like he could have 10 putted the last hole and still been in the top 10 or something. You know what I mean? Like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at the leaderboard, the finals, second place was 5 shots behind DJ. And DJ only shot 4 under on the final day. And it's
a comfortable lead.
Nuts. It is comfortable.
Well, and I think your boy Brooks Koepka's kind of making a little comeback too. He played placed top 5 in Houston.
Yeah.
And then top 10 here, taking 7th. That's not a bad round for him too. He's kind of making a quick comeback.
Brooks is a major guy.
It's a very good point, Mitch. Yeah, very good point.
Just gear up for the majors and,
he'll
show up for the other ones.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're very right.
And our boy Bryson did not break Augusta. I know we were talking about it the last 2 weeks here on the Sport Folio show. And 34th or something like that.
No, but he was chasing in the woods the whole time.
Man, it is not. Augusta is not the U.S. Open.
Sure.
Correct.
There's just not. I mean, it's two completely different courses. I mean, you can gouge it out of the rough and bomb it 370, 380, put it in the rough, and take a small wedge into the greens and be able to stop it. But I mean, Augusta's just not set up like that.
Now, Mitch, give me your take on this. Do you think he's just trying too much versus kind of picking a club and going with it? I mean, he's been successful, but
I mean, it's
at what point is technical too technical?
I mean, golf's golf.
True.
Golf is hard.
True.
So I think what he's been doing works really well for him, and it's not going to work for everybody, and that's why nobody has completely rebuilt their swing like Bryson. So I think there's going to be a number of courses that really suit what he's trying to do. There are other tournaments where he's probably going to have to be a little bit more judicious. If he's still hitting an iron 360 yards, of course, like Augusta, where you've got to be a little bit more precise. I mean, Larry Mize shot the same thing as Bryson on Thursday.
Correct.
So, if you know the course and you know what your game is, I don't necessarily think that you need to go overpower courses. Some of them you just need to be a little bit more technical. If you're hitting 360 with your 3-iron or 2-iron, why not do that and just take the driver out of the bag and not worry about it?
Sure.
So, but I think for what he's doing, I mean, it's certainly if you compare it to baseball analytics, he's just trying to find where the gaps are and then just take advantage of it. Nobody else is doing what he's doing, which I give him a lot of credit for. I don't think he's changing the game of golf at all. I think he's just playing it a different way that's pretty unorthodox.
Do you think it's sustainable?
I mean, from everything that I've seen, yeah, because if you watch his footwork and you watch his body move on his swing, it's clearly fast and clearly violent, but the way he's moving, I don't think he's creating the wear and tear on his body that you would see. I mean, look, baseball players swing like that every day, and they're hitting a 6-ounce moving object.
True.
Golf ball's a lot smaller than a baseball, and it's not moving. So he's, he's practicing, but he's not bombing driver all day. On the practice range, he's not bombing driver the whole time. So you've got to think about the wear and tear and the speeds that he's creating. Is that sustainable? Yeah. It's just not, he's not hitting driver 4 hours a day every day. He gets his work in like all the other pros do. It might be a little bit different, but yeah, I don't see any reason why it's not, because look at the long drive guys. You're not seeing a ton of the long drive guys. Kyle Berkshire, Justin James. Even Jason Zubak still, he's in his
throw Brendan
50s.
Hayden in there.
I will throw Brendan Hayden in there. But none of those guys are hurt.
Sure.
And so, I think it's the physical preparedness as well. You got to have a body that's going to hold up to that swing speed and those reps. But, I think it's sustainable as long as he wants to.
I had a conversation with the director of golf at one of the local country clubs, and we were discussing, are some of these younger guys trying to win more of the one major or one of these acute events, get kind of the price tag paid out? Or are they looking more for the longevity like Phil's doing? And I said, that's a good conversation to open up.
Yeah, I think, by the time you're at this level, you've pretty much figured your game out.
Sure.
Like, everyone says people are chasing speed, but really they're trying to maintain what they have at the professional level. No one, Bryson's really the only guy who's gone out to really seek the extra 40 to 60 yards, because you're talking about completely rearranging your game. The PGA pros that I work with, no one said I need to gain another 10 to 20 yards, because that's just going to throw it's going to throw everything off. If you're really going to do it, Bryson was in a position where he'd already won, and now, as we were joking about with Brooks, just focusing on majors, why not do that? So, if Bryson's focusing on the majors and rearranging his game for that, I think that's a good idea. He's already won non-majors. His status on tour is secured, so why not go out and take some risks and try to find some advantages somewhere? I think from a long-term perspective, if you're going to build speed, you've got to start at young ages, like 4, 5, 6 years old, and not necessarily focus on just golf, but if you're developing the athlete and developing fast twitch muscle and fast twitch patterns, start them as young as possible so their body develops. It's the
appropriately.
It's Milo of Crete. It's, how do you pick up and walk around with a 2,000 pound bull? Well, start when it's a calf, start when it's really small, and then build your way up.
What do you guys think about him having all of his clubs at the same length?
Works for him.
Exactly.
Like, because I know if you go from your driver to your wedge and they're all the same length, like in terms of positioning, or even for you guys in terms of like biomechanics, is that a good thing to try and just replicate the same stroke every time, or do you like a shorter iron and have them up and over it a little more?
I'll be truthful. I'm not a swing coach, so I don't have that kind of perspective, but physics is physics. The longer lever arm you have, obviously, the more that you can produce speed or torque. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I would agree. Again, it's N equals 1, so it works really good for Bryson.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see that many people moving towards it.
Well, it's not cheap either.
It's not cheap either.
Gotta get custom fitted for the whole bag, right?
Yeah. But I mean, obviously, it's working. It's working really well for him.
Sure.
So.
Well, and sometimes, like, if he gets those extra 30 or 40 yards, that's just the difference of using like a 5 iron versus like a 9 iron or something for most dudes. Like,
oh yeah, look at Memorial.
So if someone has a clean 5 iron shot, but he's got to take a 9 iron from the side or from the brush, maybe that's.
When you go back to I think it was, I can't remember when it was, but they had the Workday charity at Muirfield followed up by the Memorial, and they completely just grew out the rough. I mean, they were redoing the course afterwards, but they grew out the rough, sped up the green so that guys hitting 7 iron couldn't stop the ball on the green. It was going everywhere. Guys who were hitting 9 iron and wedges onto the green were able to stop it, but they weren't certain. I think the winner on the Workday was 22 under, and Rahm won Memorial at 10 under, 12 under. Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of the course setup and course design is going to play into what they can hit in.
Sure.
And Augusta was playing a little bit different, this last weekend than it does in April. It was a lot softer. Greens were a little bit more receptive, and but look, you still had guys hitting it into the water on 12. Still had guys hitting the water on 16. One guy had a really good weekend.
I was gonna say, still have guys with Wayne Gretzky's daughter waiting for you, with open arms.
Yeah. Well, again, one guy played really, really well, and that was the guy who had Paulina waiting for him.
Sure. Just so happens to be dating a super athlete's daughter as well. Or are they married? I don't even know.
Yeah. And the green jacket.
Yeah.
Not a bad membership.
Have Tiger put it on for you, just for good measure.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I guess the question now is, what's the dinner going to be next year? In April.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to do the Masters in the normal time?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not moving it. Just
so they'll do it again in like 5-6 months or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
If I can make one prediction, it will be the winner will not be shooting 20 under in April.
No. It almost.
Who's going to shoot 20 under on any course at any day? Like.
It almost, and I think for the historic event of Augusta, I think they don't want that.
No.
They don't want people shooting 20 under because that's one of the more difficult courses out there. So it's almost all right whether we have to prepare it different or make the greens a little bit faster. They're gonna make some adjustments for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's nice to see Mr. Rahm up there after that hole-in-one before the event started. I know that was a little viral moment. Did you see him skip across the pond?
Even though it wasn't in competition, that for me is the greatest shot in golf history. Accidental, on purpose, does not matter. I think it gives every 18 handicapper hope that they can get a hole-in-one by skipping it up the fairway. Even though Rahm's was skipped over the water, that was bonkers.
It's a good
the
birthday
day after
present, bro.
Yeah, it was.
So do you want to segue into some golf stuff or some stuff that you guys are doing over at Coastal?
Yeah, we can do that.
Talk to us a little bit about, the types of athletes that you're working with, plans for 2021, things like that.
We got a couple things in the hopper for 2021 that we're not going to let out of the bag yet.
I have heard a couple rumblings.
Top secret.
Yeah.
But you guys you got the TrackMan in there and everything else.
Yeah, in terms of expanding what we can offer golfers, we've grown that a lot this year. Stephen Sweeney, who's a putting coach, works with Paul Hurry on golf and in Quintic. He works with a number of guys on tour, including Bryson. He's in, so we've got a putting lab
Cool.
at our gym. So what we do with that is we'll set them up. It's similar to TrackMan, where it looks at swing path, launch angle, face twist at impact. It just looks at a ton of different metrics that you can not really see with the naked eye when somebody's putting.
Sure.
So people who say like, I'm just a bad putter, like we can tell you why you're a bad putter. It's, one, it's either
Up here.
well, one, it's either technical, or two, it's you just suck at reading greens.
Which is probably the truth.
Which
Sure.
could be both. But
Or
there
your mustache
are
is adding a
people
little extra weight, so you're leaning a little far forward.
that would facial hair would have to.
Yeah, it's a real factor out there.
Yeah.
Is that why I play shitty in November?
I think so. I've got no excuse the rest of the year.
That's cool. I'm excited for you, man. I
Yeah.
know we had Brendan in on the show 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he did mention a couple things that you guys were looking forward to. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, because I want to go over there and figure out why I suck at putting as well.
Sweeney's the man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Come see the Demon Putter of Fleet Street.
Now, if I was to be a client and I wanted to get better at golf, and I call up Coastal Performance and you guys, do you make me pay extra for the mustache, or is that just included?
No, it's actually a requirement.
It is.
It's
yeah.
not extra. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
okay.
we require you to grow the mustache.
It's the gentleman's agreement.
It's,
Backdoor handshake.
come for the training, stay for the stash.
But I guess for people that are here in South Florida that may be interested in finding a gym or fine tuning their game, could you kind of speak to?
So
speak to that?
Yeah, we've got a couple of different avenues. We do have a swing coach who works with us also, Denny Lucas, who's worked with a number of juniors and collegiate golfers and tour pros. So we'd kind of look at it from a twofold perspective. One, we'd put you through a movement screen, kind of see, for most average golfers, for somebody getting into golf, we'd still do the movement screen, but we kind of know that you probably just don't know how to swing a golf club. So we'll see what your movement limitations are.
Is that an FMS?
We use the TPI screen.
Okay.
For that, and it's a combination of TPI, SFMA, FMS.
And Mitch, for the people who don't know what that is, what's TPI?
So TPI is the Titleist Performance Institute. Dr. Greg Rose and Dave Phillips, and then Greg Cook, who Dr. Greg Rose was working with while they were setting up the SFMA and FMS screens, basically broke down the golf swing into its individual components using the joint by joint theory. So we looked, we'll kind of take you through a screen that TPI is set up, and we'll look for any red flags movement wise that would cause any number of different swing faults. And we put together a workout program for you that would address those movement limitations.
Sure.
And then we could get you set up with our teaching pro, and then he would give you the golf instruction so we can kind of work out, trying to burn that candle from both sides.
Genius, man. I really do appreciate that.
And just, I've watched both, and I've watched and filmed both of you guys speaking, in Orlando for the, on the TPI stage the last 2 years. So kudos to you guys for, really getting out there and getting after it in terms of practicing what you preach. And I know I've seen some of the athletes in Spence's facility when they're getting a screen versus 6 months later when they do that same screen. And it's amazing to see like how stiff or unflexible or hurt or whatever it may be, how you favor certain things, and how that really could translate over to even just life in general, like.
Yeah, no, it totally is. I mean, I think posture's, your golf swing is going to be a reflection of your posture. Or posture is going to be a reflection of a lot of things that you have going on in life. Yeah. So trying to address those limitations. I mean, if somebody who enjoys golf but is playing in pain probably doesn't play very well, probably doesn't enjoy it a whole lot. So if you can get them out of pain and they're playing better golf, that's probably going to transfer over into a lot of parts of their life, or they're going to enjoy life a little bit more. So, I mean, that for us is pretty cool.
And then you get 1 million word of mouth referrals.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. It's totally fine. Yeah.
Well, if they don't put you guys on the stage this year because of all things considered, maybe we can film some educational content in here together and, provide it
online. It'll be virtual this year.
Yeah.
Could be, right?
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to have to get you back in here again sometime soon and do the brain dump.
Yeah, done. We can do that.
Absolutely.
Boys, let's move on to a little bit of baseball talk.
Yeah. That's where I got my athletic start. Little 9-year-old Mitch.
First female GM.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's been a long time coming for that. I'm super fired up for her, for baseball, for pro sports in general.
And I think, Mike, you brought up, or possibly Rob, our stats guy, brought it up. He was telling us that she started in
1990 with the Chicago White Sox, right? So I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see the consistency and sticking to it. Like, for a lot of the people out there, hey, this doesn't happen overnight, clearly. And for females, it's really cool for her to break down the door like some of the other girls you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, man, I hate the idea of a glass ceiling, but I think sort of the shattering of that, because, people who've never heard of Kim Ng and now she's the GM of the Marlins are going to think, well, this just happened, when Correct. You're right. She's been in baseball for 30 years. But what it does for all the major sports is shows females who like those sports, who are in those sports, that this can be a possibility. And hopefully, the next one doesn't have to wait 30 years of her career to do that. I mean, running, being a GM of a baseball team, you need obviously a lot of experience.
Yeah.
But, if it shows that you can happen, you're getting more ideas in and how to be successful, and because it's about winning championships.
And there's a lot of women that are starting to get these roles. Sue Falsone, she took a big one. Rachel Balkovec.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I was reading the Wall Street Journal, and your Jacksonville Jaguars, their assistant athletic trainer is a female as well.
Yeah.
So
they're not my Jaguars this season. Let's just make it clear, everybody.
But you could see that they're starting to take more on professional sports in general, which is awesome, because I think they're providing a different perspective that we may not really see.
Yeah, and I think it also highlights how many females are in professional sports right now that not a lot of people know about. 2 years ago, NBA Strength Coach of the Year was Suki Hobson for the Bucks. You mentioned Rachel Balkovec. She's been with the Cardinals, the Stros, Yankees. She's now down in Australia working with a professional team down there. I mean, these are the I can't remember, and one of them was a strength coach, I think, for the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals, and then there's another female coach that's working with the Redskins. And I know there are a ton of them out there, but there's no reason why their names shouldn't.
The Washington football team.
Shit, sorry.
Yeah, no,
yes,
that's okay.
The WFTs.
It's okay. You're a Packers guy, so
yeah,
we give a little extra slack for you.
Do you have cheese? Do you have
lovers.
Cheese headphones for next time?
We should have had a freaking cheese hat in.
But I think the women that are working on the sports side that aren't necessarily on the business side of it, because I know there are a lot on the business side, but the ones that are on the front office and the performance side, I think people should know their name. They should be out front and center. because we got a
should be
huge
about your qualifications and if you get your job done, right?
Yeah. Are you good?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter whether you're male or female or non-binary, whatever. Like, if you can do the job, you can do the job. And
in professional sports, it's like a win now league, almost in every league all the time now, right? There's so much pressure.
yeah,
And so, most people that suck it up are out in like 2 years max anyways.
Correct.
And so I think it's a great opportunity and a great time for anybody to get in there and actually prove what you're worth.
So here's me tipping my cap to the Marlins. Good job.
First woman, and apparently first East Asian was the other tag. I don't know if there's been a Western Asian GM, but that was like a
I know, first
delineated
Asian
fact.
American and first female.
Yeah.
That's really
But
cool.
yeah, that's awesome.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And it's local, We're here in South Florida, so I'm sure that all of our fans of the Marlins and a previous Sport Folio guest, does some work in the area.
Would we
so
refer to them as a friend of the show?
We could
Yeah.
refer to him as a friend of the show. Can we
Yeah.
name drop?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Alvarez, looking forward to you guys bringing home the World Series this year, right?
We'll see.
Yeah.
Marlins are also known as Brewers South because they got half the Brewers team and farm system in the Yelich trade a couple of years ago.
And they're right up the street.
They
Spring
are.
training right
Yeah.
here in Jupiter.
Just a hop and a skip away.
Yeah.
What's next, boys? Anything else? I think we got to throw it over to Sean Wilson for a quick segment.
Sean, to you, bro.
Ahoy there, Skipper here. This week we're talking about Austin Johnson, Dustin Johnson's younger brother and caddy. Austin answered the call and joined his brother Dustin on the PGA Tour in 2013 when DJ's caddy was unable to travel with him to Australia. After a solid finish in Perth, Austin was asked to caddy again at the World Golf Championship HSBC tourney in Shanghai, which Dustin ended up winning and ringing the bell to the tune of $1.4 million. Since then, the Johnson boys have not looked back. In fact, Dustin Johnson has tallied an astounding 24 PGA Tour wins at the age of 36. Fun fact, a caddy typically receives about 10% commission for the golfer's tournament winnings. I wonder how much Austin Johnson makes as a caddy. Well, thanks to the folks at Spotrac, I was able to pull some numbers and do the math. Note, earnings are based on an in-house formula, which may or may not be derived from handwritten information I found on the back of an old TV guide while in the dentist office bathroom. Over the last 7 years, Austin has averaged $680,000 a year, with 2013 as lowest, bringing in $442, and 2015-16 season as highest at $950,000. And this doesn't even take into account that bank bag busting bonus he received in September at the season-ending tour championship, where his brother won the title, earning a hefty $15 million payout. The younger Johnson earned $1.5 million for that alone, which was more than the winner's share in 24 of the 37 PGA Tour events played in the 19 through 20 season. I'll repeat that. Dustin's caddy brother earned more in bonus last year than the winners of the 24 of 37 PGA Tour events. Incredibly, that amount alone would rank AJ in the top 500 for the PGA Tour's career all-time money list. And just for fun, Austin also earned almost $250,000 more than Tiger Woods did from the start of the 2019 through 20 season to present. Not bad for a guy who doesn't swing a club, huh? AJ's career earnings, based on my super secret scientific and statistical calculations, are $6.652 million. That ranks him 271 on the money list, ahead of Mark McCumber, Lee Trevino, Gary Player, and Jack Nicklaus. I'd spit my coffee at that stat, but it's whiskey, and we don't do things like that around here. So, as you saw last week, Team Johnson & Johnson are in full steam ahead. The boys dominated Augusta National Golf Club, sailing away in record-setting fashion. For his victory, Dustin Johnson won a green jacket and more than $2 million. While Austin won't have a green jacket, he did win over $200,000, and more impressively, he gets to keep his awesome jumpsuit. Lucky motherfucker. Anybody need a caddy?
Thank you, Sean Wilson, all the way from sunny Key West, Florida. We wish you were here in the studio in Palm Beach County with us today.
Cheers.
Boys, let's talk a little NFL.
Yeah.
I know your favorite player, Tammy Brady, had a game.
Not my favorite player. I'm Team A-Rod.
Yeah, I'm Team A-Rod too, because, dude, when he did the championship belt for the first time, I was like, signed up for life, bro. I'm like, This guy's an instant legend.
Did the belt the other day.
Cheesehead right here, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Born and raised, all things Wisconsin. Packers, Badgers, Brewers, Bucks.
Well, we know that we had you at our pop-up 1-year anniversary recently.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that your daughter was still in her Charles Woodson gear.
Yes.
Because she was still waiting to grow into the Aaron Rodgers jersey that's waiting for her.
Yeah, they're hand-me-downs from her older cousins, but we got a Charles Woodson. Shout out to Charles, by the way.
Yeah.
Really good dude.
Yeah.
And a great, by the way, if you haven't tried Charles Woodson wines, Charles Woodson's wines are really good.
Which they'll be in the
some vineyards or
studio.
something?
Yeah, they'll be in the studio here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Perks of winning the Heisman trophies. You get some connections in Napa Valley.
Yeah. So we have, the Packers are 7-2 since Samantha's been wearing the Charles Woodson jersey. So I think next year we'll move up to Aaron Rodgers.
They're looking pretty there at the top of the
Yeah, a little
standings.
nervous. I mean, I can't figure out their defense, the Packers. They look so bad. And yet, they've got very few turnovers this year.
That's
They've got
the key.
few sacks. Yeah, it's a turnover league. As my buddy Mike likes to say, when the bakery is open, things are going well. And why is it called the bakery? Because they're serving turnovers.
Hey, they don't make apple turnovers though. It's cheddar turnovers.
That's
up there.
right. Yeah.
Cheese
We like
fondue.
we like our savory cheeses. But
And I know our stats guy Rob will love to know that sitting at 0-9 is the New York Jets.
yikes.
Big Jets fan.
They actually gave Patriots a run for their money the other week. There was like a last-second field goal for the Patriots to pull that one out.
And they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Well, I want the Jets to win like 1 or 2 so my Jags can get Trevor Lawrence because I don't think Minshew magic is
the answer.
Yeah.
Speaking of quarterbacks, let's talk about Miami.
I will go on record to say that I thought that was a horrible move, and I was dead wrong. At 3-2, look, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting with Fitz. He's going to go for 3 or 4 touchdowns and 400 yards, or he's going to be complete garbage and throw 4 interceptions. But at least you know what you're getting, and throwing in. And when they did it, putting them against the Rams defense, I just thought that was the wrong time. And then I watched that game, and they required very little of them because the defense, they had a special teams touchdown, they had a defensive touchdown. They created turnovers, so it made life really easy on him. And he's played really well since then. I guess that's why I'm not a football GM.
Here's what I did appreciate about Fitzmagic. The freaking Tom Selleck chest hair that he had going on with a Hawaiian shirt.
Dude,
I know
props
this is
to
like the
that dude.
first Sport Folio show in like a month where Spence hasn't had like full like 80s porn star. I mean, the mustache is like half of it, but the chest hair,
Just a temporary change.
Yeah.
business casual today in the studio. I like it. But it's crazy. The season's flying by, boys. They're already starting to talk MVP. They're already starting to talk seedings for playoffs because it's with 10 or 11 games in the belt, depending on what your team has done with your bye week. You got a pretty good idea. I know we were laughing about Justin Herbert's haircut. That was a meme of the week. I don't know if you saw.
Is that a haircut?
It's a bowl shave.
Hair trim.
It's not a style either, is it? So that's funny. I know that. Wow, we got a big Monday night game here in Florida as well, boys.
Who do we got?
Looks like the Los Angeles Rams are coming to town for your favorite. So if he's gonna have a clean pocket, you think?
It's a turnover league. When we were just talking about this during the break, that when it's not just for Brady or for Aaron Rodgers, but the games where those two guys and pretty much any quarterback, when they're getting hit, if you're getting 3 or 4 sacks and you're giving up 3 or 4 sacks on offense, you're going to have a hard time winning. And, it's a turnover league, and if you're creating turnovers and you're not keeping your quarterback clean, it's going to be really tough to win games. So I think that's going to be the deciding factor. With that first game against the Rams and Finns, I thought that the Rams were going to win that just because of how good their defensive front is, but they kept Tua clean, and the Finns defense got after Goff and made life really tough for him, and they just got no rhythm on offense. And same thing when Tampa crushed Green Bay. I mean, Green Bay went right down the field their first 2 drives, and we're up 10-0, and then Rodgers threw that pick 6, and then he had another interception right after that, and then they were just in the backfield the whole time. It was just really tough for them to get any momentum. So I think any time that you're creating pressure for the quarterback, even if you're not getting sacks, if you're just getting hits, it's going to make life pretty tough. And so we'll see. We'll see. That'll be a good.
Did you see the ribs in the lung? It was he a
couple cracked ribs and a collapsed lung,
and he got right up, dude.
He's a beast.
Craziness.
I can tell you at age 40, though, those hits.
Shit, dude. I hope that,
At age 30, those hits.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you have a 325-pound man falling on you at full speed.
Yeah.
That's not fun at any age.
Yeah. He got wrapped up pretty high, though, too, so he couldn't even brace himself.
Yeah.
It was just, let's go for a little ride.
Do we know if he's done for the season or...
he was getting a second opinion.
A couple weeks at
to be
least.
determined, yeah. Well... Shout out to Drew because he is a stand-up dude, and hopefully he's able to say that he can play one more game or two this season, because I know that they had a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
They've been playing really well when they beat Tom Brady like that. It's I know Spence texted me a meme the following morning. It was like a scene from the Avengers where they like photoshopped the Hulk with Drew Brees' face
Yes.
and like Loki with Tom Brady or the
Yeah.
Bucks or whatever. Fabulous meme sharing, by the way, dude. We always appreciate that.
Got to.
I'm calling it right now. Taysom Hill, before the end of the season, will be throwing a touchdown to Jameis Winston. Book it.
Wow. That might be a Lomo lock.
Dude, that's a Sport Folio call of the week.
Put the pride aside, lay the lumber, mortgage the house.
Is he
Book
gonna
it.
eat those W's out there?
He better.
That's
Put
beautiful.
the kids in the house's house on the line for this.
The house's house.
Yes.
Cheers to
That's
Logan
right.
Morrison for coming up with the lines.
Yeah.
Mitch, dude, we
Jonesy.
can't thank you enough for coming
Thanks for
back
having me
to
on.
Media
This is a
Zone.
blast. Yeah.
I feel like you're a regular on the show. The Palm Beach podcast appearance, and now this.
Yeah, I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of the Carson Show. Just
great
you lose,
name drop.
you lose a guest. Hey, get Dangerfield in here.
We might have to set up a little live feed sync over to Coastal Performance.
That's easy.
Oh yeah.
And patch you in for the.
For another deep pull, I could be the Al Franken one-man mobile uplink unit
Oh my gosh!
from old SNL weekend updates.
As long as the video feed is like this, so we
Well,
get this
I've-
beautiful face.
I've got an old motorcycle helmet rigged with a satellite dish on top.
Either that or a cheesehead. We'll take either.
Oh yeah. Actually, what I will do, and I've seen them, you get a motorcycle helmet that's painted
Ooh.
like cheese.
If not, we can probably get a custom one done for you.
Yeah.
We'll work
Oh,
it
that'd
out
be
for
great.
you, Mitch.
Yeah.
And we'll have to get you back in here soon, man.
Done.
Cheers, boys.
All right.
Perfect. Cheers.
Yoo.